welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, your story titled, My Kids Knew About My Wife's Affair and Helped Her Cover It Up. And a shout out to Harold for sending this story. And guys, like the title says, this is about a husband and father married a long time, 50 years old, and found out that his wife's not only having an affair, but his two daughters in their 20s not only knew about it, but are helping her cover it up, especially the one. And let me just tell you guys, this guy definitely handles things right. Even though he's heartbroken and furious and all that, as he has a right to be, he handles it right. And let me tell you, especially not only with the ex-wife, but also the daughters, especially the one daughter who feels justified in this whole thing is crazy. And I'll be going to go over here today as an example of pieces of garbage getting what's coming to them. And of course, you sadly as a man can't trust anybody. You always got to sleep with one eye open. Says, oh, and by the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, come join me on X, formerly Twitter. The handle is SSM Channels. Really trying to grow it over there. And if you haven't done so already, come on over. We're having a good time over there, and only take a second to join. Okay. Says here, last week, my wife, a 49-year-old female, was taking a shower, and I, a 50-year-old male, saw a notification pop up on her phone and went to open it thinking it was one of our daughters. Our daughters are Maddie, who's 24, and Alice, 26. I thought they were confirming what time that the girls' dinner was. Notice some of these stories are like when the wife's in the shower or in the bathroom taking a dump or something and she left her phone out. And, seriously, all you guys out there in relationships, when your girl takes a shower, go for the phone. Instead, I saw an unsaved phone number saying, I can't wait to see you, and then a kissing emoji. I froze for a second and clicked on the message and saw a short thread mostly confirming dinner plans for that evening and how they missed each other and once a week just wasn't enough. This guy's like, what the hell? I knew what I saw. 29 years of marriage down the drain. Hoping to catch her in a lie before she left the house, I texted both of our daughters and asked them about girls' dinner. What happened next broke my heart to the core. Both girls confirmed the dinner and said they were excited, and I couldn't believe it. It's bad enough his wife, the mother of his kids, is cheating on him, affair, all this shit, seeing this and everything, but the daughters? I mean, I don't know. I think any guy with half a brain could expect the possibility of a wife cheating, but I would take the betrayal even more with the daughters. That's just me. I'm not proud of what came next. I turned the location sharing device on with me and her phone and let her leave. Why should you not be proud of that? You got evidence of an affair. All's fair at this point. Well, I followed her to the restaurant, and lo and behold, neither of our daughter was there, but instead a man I knew was her boss. I was so heartbroken. Part of me was hoping I was just being paranoid, a paranoid freak, and my daughters would be there happy to see me. But no, just my cheating wife and her affair partner. I'm sure every part of him wanted to run over there and whoop his ass and read her the riot act, but you gotta play it cool. Well, I took 2 pictures of them holding hands and kissing. I know I should have waited, but I couldn't help myself. I was so angry. As soon as I got in my car, I opened the group chat that we had as a family and sent them all the photos and said, glad you're enjoying girls' dinner together. Well, at least he didn't run in and kick that guy's butt in the restaurant. He'd be arrested. I then turned off my phone and drove to my brother's house and asked to stay the night. I woke up the next morning to over 40 texts and 20 voicemails. I'm surprised it's not even more. My wife went through the cheater's playbook of excuses. You mean the Hobag handbook? I didn't even listen to her voicemails. I was about to respond with, I will be getting a divorce and I recommend a lawyer, but my brother stopped me. He told me to meet with a bunch of lawyers first and make sure she couldn't use them. In other words, for you guys that don't know, I believe that if you meet with a lawyer, do like a free consultation, some do free consultations or whatever, once you explain the situation, they legally can't represent the other spouse if they came checking them for their services. I believe that's the case. So it's in your interest to go to all the best lawyers in town or within so many square miles to make it that your wife can't go to them. I believe that's accurate. Instead, I sent the group chat a simple message. I said to them, I'm physically fine, but I need time. I'll come home when I'm ready, and then muted my phone. I called different lawyers that looked to be the best in town that morning and made appointments throughout the day. I met with all of them and picked the one who looked ready to treat this as a scorched earth as possible. That's quite a productive day. Finally, after spending all day meeting with the different lawyers, I looked through my messages and both my daughters were apologizing. Yeah, because they got caught. My younger daughter, the daddy's girl of the two, was manic. She had texted me about 50 times saying she never should have lied and hated it every time. Too little, too late, sweetie. And this guy's probably thinking, where did I go wrong? Because you know this guy was a good dad. I just feel it. Well, her boyfriend even reached out to me, asking me to please reach out to her, that he didn't know what was going on, but that she was on the verge of a panic attack. Notice the boyfriend is looking out for her, good guy, but she doesn't tell him why she's freaking out, because that would make her an asshole. He said to her, Maddie, I love you, but please understand that what you've done has hurt me deeply. I need you to give me space. I sent it, and within seconds, I got it, okay, I'm so sorry. More like, I'm so sorry. And I never should have helped. I'll never forgive myself. I love you too. Uh-huh. Yeah, now that you're caught. I sent it. Oh, I read that part. I didn't respond. Alice was different. We always had a good relationship, but she was mama's girl through and through. She said she was sorry, but that I shouldn't throw away a good marriage because one mistake, and that made me furious. Well, you can see Alice takes after her WHORE in capital letters mother. Made a mistake. Don't throw away a good marriage. Are you kidding me? That's a whole lot of mistakes in an affair. Or Hobag handbook shit. Yeah, I can tell Alice is so sorry. I said to her, Alice, this isn't a mistake. This is betrayal. For my whole family, please don't reach out again until I make first contact. Well, she never responded, but I know she showed it to my soon-to-be ex because she started saying that I shouldn't take this out on Alice. I never responded. I'll never talk to her again except through the lawyers. Yeah, you got no reason to talk to her. But the problem is you have a house and all your stuff is in there, you know? But at least the younger daughter was totally apologizing while the Alice was, well, you know, you shouldn't throw away a marriage. Your mother threw away a marriage. Well, this all happened 5 days ago. I'm still at my brother's house and can't contain my feelings. I cry every morning and most of the day. I oscillate between complete capitulating sadness and all-consuming anger. Dude, totally normal. Losing my wife will be hard enough, but how do I ever look at my children again? How do I even begin to forgive them? Alice is supposed to get married in the fall. I've been paying for almost everything. Now I'm probably not going to go. I don't even know how to move forward. I'm completely destroyed. And that's the end of his first part before he did an update many, many months later, I believe. So yeah, what a shitty situation. But paying for that girl's wedding? Nope. Even if both those girls came to him crying and saying they're so sorry, and they were caught between the loyalty to the mother, and the mother said a bunch of crap lying about him or whatever, still, if those girls did that, they would have to spend a long time winning back his trust. But notice at least the one daughter's apologetic, even though I think it's because she got caught. And the other one's like, well, you shouldn't throw away a good marriage, a mistake, and obviously blames it on him. Well, on to the update. He says, I can't believe it. It's been a year since my original post. Okay, a year later. Some days it feels like it just happened yesterday, and others I feel like it's already happened. There was never a before. My soon-to-be ex and I are still going through the divorce proceedings. Good. I'm glad. Can you imagine if after all that you got an update him saying, well, we're working it out? No, there's no going back. We were forced to do a 6-month legal separation before we could start the divorce. I moved back home after a week and a half at my brother's. I served her with the legal separation a week later to ensure that I had reestablished that our house was still my home location. The terms were absolute hell. We had 1 year left on the mortgage, so whoever was going to stay at the house was supposed to pay the full amount for the year. 1 year left on the mortgage. God almighty. Of course, because she had been a stay-at-home mom 20 years ago, until Maddie started pre-K, her decision that I was against. She used that against me, and she was allowed to stay at the house, but we split the mortgage. Of course she gets to stay at the house, and splitting the mortgage and all that. I ended up moving into a 1-bedroom apartment. That's where I'm writing this right now. And you know what? Even though he was heartbroken and betrayed, I'm sure that 1-bedroom apartment gave him more peace and quiet than he had in ages. Maddie, the younger daughter, and I had made up somewhat quickly. She came to the house and refused to leave until I talked to her. Well, if he didn't want to talk to her, he could be like, get the fuck out. She didn't throw a fit or anything like that. She just would not leave. This went on for a couple weeks. Her boyfriend was annoyed. He kept coming over and hated the awkwardness, but she would just say in front of Julie and I that she would not return to the apartment until she and I were talking again. At the time, it was really annoying. I hated being the one there, and Julie and I were fighting over the legal separation. And Julie is my soon-to-be ex-wife. But I eventually unleashed some frustration onto Maddie, and told her, and she told me how she found out. Apparently, at an actual girls' dinner 2 weeks prior to me finding out, Julie was quite drunk and let it slip. Alice tried to stop her, but couldn't. Alice and Julie begged her to keep quiet until Julie could come clean to me. Okay, so if I had this right, the wife and the bitch-ass daughter, Alice, they obviously had been in cahoots and knew about this for a long time. Mom was drunk, let it out, and this girl, Maddie, knew about this for 2 weeks. And obviously she's the youngest one, and she was probably browbeaten, pressured. It's not an excuse, but still, the main assholes in the story are the older sister and the mother. Okay. Well, Maddie was crying as she said this and told me she now realizes that her mom had no intention of ever telling me. Okay, she probably said, I was going to tell your dad. The girls' dinner lie was the first time she had lied to me about the affair, and according to her mom, she was going to break it off with the affair partner and then tell me that night. Well, it's a possibility that the younger daughter here could be lying, but I don't know. Part of me thinks she probably isn't. We were both crying, and Julie came in trying to defend herself, and I unleashed all my anger. Yeah, unleash your anger. Sound like Emperor Palpatine. I yelled like I'd never done before. Maddie even had to calm me down. She didn't just manipulate me, she straight up used at least one of our daughters. It was unforgivable. That's when I just agreed to the mortgage split to get Maddie and I out of the house. Maddie moved back in with her boyfriend that night, and I found my current apartment Maddie decorated for me. Okay, my opinion, Maddie's still in the doghouse here, but if what she's saying is true, that you know, it was only 2 weeks, and the mother assured him that she was going to tell him and all that. Maybe. But still, she's in the doghouse. She's on probation big time. Alice and I, unfortunately, are not on speaking terms. Well, good. Alice is a bitch. After the fallout, her fiance came to me and asked what was going on. Of course he doesn't know. He suspected that she was cheating on him. I told him that I had no reason to suspect that Alice was cheating, but that my wife was cheating on me. And Alice knew before me. Not sure exactly what happened next, but I ended up breaking them up. Could happen to a nicer girl. Well, her boyfriend, Fiance, was probably thinking, if she can cover up her mom cheating, she'll probably have no problem cheating on me either. Well, Alice blames me, saying I should never have told him anything. He's a grown-ass man. He wanted to know. You didn't tell him anything. Fuck you. Since coming to my apartment in tears and blaming me for everything, she blocked me and we haven't spoken. I was able to get some money back from the vendors I had dealt with directly, but I know Alice kept some of that money for herself. I still have no idea how long Alice knew about the affair, and her lack of remorse likely means we will never have a relationship again. Now, we can all say, well, ha ha ha, she's a bitch, fuck her, and I do think that, but this is his daughter, who he thought he had, she was mama's girl, but he thought he had a good relationship with. It is heartbreaking, your own child, for heaven's sake. But, you know what, hey, could happen to a nicer girl. I'm glad the fiance got rid of her. And she ain't getting married. Alice and Julie are currently living together at the house. Oh, it's a coven. The witch's coven. Julie is openly dating her boss now. He left and went to another firm when I caught them, scared that he would lose his job. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm jealous. Not of the two of them. They will implode, I'm sure, but jealous of not being lonely. Maddie has been encouraging me to go out and help me set up a dating profile, which is so awkward. Oh, for goodness sake. See, right there, you don't take advice from women. What he should be doing is doing everything to get through the divorce, self-improvement, all that. The daughter's idea is, get back out there, Dad, get on the dating apps. That's stupid, not actually fixing anything. This is what women do. She then called me a weirdo when my first match was with a 33-year-old single mom. Oh, God. We have a date planned for next week. Smack! That's a terrible idea that Maddie encouraged me to go on. But I'm just not sure I'm ready to start over. And that is the abrupt ending of the situation. But the point is, horrible as it is, he's done with her. I'm glad he didn't poke around. He got rid of the wife. and he and the oldest a-hole daughter ain't on speaking terms. I'd have nothing to do with that older daughter unless she came back fucking begging and crying. Even then, I wouldn't believe it because probably her life's gone to crap. But I think it's funny he cut her off and that boyfriend dumped her. And as for the younger daughter, I could kind of see the pressure and all that and everything. And it was a couple weeks if her story checks out, but she'd be on some serious probation in my book there. But the older one, hell with her. But anyhow, guys, there you go. And I guarantee you the ex-wife will be coming back to him begging and pleading for a second chance when it doesn't work out with the boss. Because remember, his ex-wife now is a year later, is now 50 years old. Not exactly a catch. Unless she is like smoking hot for 50 years old and looks great. And she's like, I don't know, Giselle or some of these other women that look good for their age. You know, she'll be back to this guy. And I hope this guy's smart enough to say, nope, I don't care. We're married 29 years. You're toast. Now, some comments here. Better wrap this up. One guy says here, Alice is your mother's daughter. Helped to cover up the cheating, shows zero remorse. Her fiance knew right away she'd cheat on him, so he told her to pound salt. Get back out there, F your wife. The best revenge is living a good life. Once you find someone, she'll lose her mind out of jealousy and implode her own relationship. Well, I agree that the wife will be jealous he gets out there, but that shouldn't be this guy's priority. This guy needs to be alone for a while. He's been married 29 years. He needs to be alone for a while. I know he says he's lonely, but hang out with your bros. Hang out with the family that cares. Get a dog. Get a cat or a couple cats. Or get a couple dogs. Well, that could be a lot for one bedroom apartment. The point is, get back on track with his life. Go to the gym. Go to the rifle range. Go someplace. But don't be rushing into dating, especially not with a 33-year-old single mom. You want to have more problems in your life? God's sakes. Another one. So it sounds like the daughters, they're so embarrassed at being caught, they've chosen to be defensive and use anger as a shield. Best for the OP to work on himself, not waste any energy on others. Let them deal with his future indifference to their victim-based manipulation. Think of it as Alice clutching her pearls and fainting to the floor. OP simply steps over her and continues on his way. And one more. Guy says, it sounds to me like the one daughter is very remorseful and didn't recognize the gravity of the situation in the moment. And she's trying very hard to fix things with you, which is great. I mostly believe the younger daughter, but still it's a major probation thing. The other daughter, Alice, I'm willing to bet, had nothing good to say when Fiance asked her mother about the cheating. He freaked out at her willingness to defend a cheater or not to brush it off, and figured he was next and noped out of there. Yeah, that Alice's fiance was very smart getting out of there. Alice's lack of accountability and blaming things on you was just a digging herself deeper. She needs therapy and to grow up and learn to hold herself accountable for the totality of her actions. Maybe in her 30s, she'll figure it out. Good luck, OP. No, Alice is too much like her a-hole mom and will be just like her a-hole mom. But if Alice is still in her 20s and is good looking, she can rope in a sucker in enough time before she turns 30, but the odds are ain't going to go too well. So anyhow, guys, there you go. A guy handles it right. It's an unfortunate situation. And in my opinion, still, if I was in this guy's shoes, I'd feel more betrayed by the daughters than the wife. Because, let's be honest, if you have a brain, you know cheating happens and wives can pull shit like this. It ain't an excuse. But your own daughters who you raised, and I'm sure he was a good daddy, you know, and this is what he gets, I'd feel more hurt from the daughters. So the hell with the one, and the other one's on probation for like 10 fucking years. So I wish this guy the best. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you find a good story, definitely send it my way. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's good, I'll cover it. And this also goes for any other stories, short stories, your own personal stories that I can use on the SSM channel. And, by the way, if you're new here, you should check out my other channel, Strong Successful Male. That's a channel of news articles, but primarily stories, personal stories that the viewers send in. You'll like it. And Hit the Bricks, which is usually short stories, 9 to 10 minutes long for those who are on the go. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.